15%. I'm not sure. GAK. Yeah.
That's funny.
It's very inviting. Big show today. This is our first show back for season 5.
Welcome back. Woo.
It's probably going to be a long one, so buckle in, everybody. You don't have to listen to it all at the same time.
Yeah,
if
you
don't
do.
want to. Okay. Yeah. Just ignore anything else that's happening in your life. We have a great show. We have an interview with Andrew J. West. Which we did yesterday.
Charming. He's making it hard for me to hate Gareth.
Hate Gareth. Mm-hmm. I think that's the idea on the show too, actually. Eventually. That's my suspicion.
Job well done.
I still hate him on the show, but I feel sorry for him at the same time too.
Now he's just so cute. And his little zombie sound.
What if he was ugly? Then we'd be like, he's a bastard.
No, he's still adorable and charming.
So then after that, we have our Deadcast Top 5. That's where we go over our top 5 highlights of the season 5 premiere. For you new listeners, just quickly, we do a top 5 instead of a scene-by-scene breakdown because then we get to focus on the parts we're really interested in, and it makes it a little bit more like a real conversation. But we end up pretty much talking about the whole thing. Anyway,
yeah, we
right?
do.
After that, we'll have news about The Walking Dead. We'll have listener feedback. We have a special comic talk section with our friends, Mr. Blog and Gracie Lou, where they compare the comic to the show. And that's it. So we also do our show in chapters. So if you have a podcast app that supports chapters, you can skip around. Sometimes in the news section, we have slightly spoilery stuff at the end, so you can easily skip ahead. And if you're using Apple's podcast app, which I've been told most people use for podcasts, do you?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
You just hit the little forward arrow anytime I say skip ahead now if you don't want to hear spoilers, and then you'll go right to the next section.
Because we will always warn you.
Yeah. We have this special feature where we just randomly say huge spoilers every once in a while. No, I'm just kidding.
That would be my special contribution to the show. But Jason, because he's awesome, will edit those out. And he'll tell me to. He'll be like, Karen, stop spoiling people. I'm like, just edit that out.
You usually don't spoil people on The Walking Dead.
I actually
but
don't
other
know
shows,
much. Yes, I will
like,
spoil.
I've already seen it. Who cares?
It's been 20 years ago.
No. Okay, anyway. All right, well, big show. So let's move right along to our interview with Andrew J. West, a.k.a. Gareth.
Hey, it's Andy West. How are you?
Good. How are you? I'm here with my co-host, Karen.
Hi, Andy.
Oh, great. Hey, how are you guys?
What's going on, man?
Not too much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming on. We totally appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah,
we're excited.
Exciting. Yeah, of course.
So, how has it been just in general doing this show?
You know, it's one of the most interesting work experiences that I've ever had, really, since day one, because the casting process is unlike anything I'd ever had. I went in for an audition like I do for almost every job, you know. But the material that I was auditioning with when I went in to read with Sharon Bialy and Sherry Thomas was written specifically for the audition. It's not material from the show. Even the character's name was different from what the character ended up being, the character that I actually played, Gareth, obviously. So when I went in to audition, I was a big fan of the show. I was very excited about the opportunity for potentially working on the show, but I knew nothing about what I would be doing on the show. Even after you got the part? Even after I got the part.
Yeah.
So I go in and I audition, and, you know, I do this scene that has nothing to do with the show. And I find out a couple days later that I got the job. Yeah, you know, it's kind of funny because it's like, I remember the audition scene was like, I was like an office worker or something, and I'm talking to a guy, you know, about like, yeah, it sucks. I got to stay late today, and you know, I got a lot of work to do. And I was like, man, there's no zombie apocalypse going on in this world. I don't know where we're at right now. So it was funny, but so you know, I find out I get the job. I think a couple days later, and I hop on a flight to Atlanta almost immediately, and I go straight to a wardrobe fitting from the airport in Atlanta, and they're dressing me up in these, you know, there was a bunch of iterations of clothes for the character, and it's all totally different. You know, it's like, I think they had me in like, you know, almost like fatigue-like clothing at one point, and I'm trying to figure out based on what they're dressing me in who I might be. Or
did you get a sense that you were sort of a, you know, antagonist at least?
To be honest, at this point, no.
No, okay.
No, even at this point, you know, but we get through the fittings, and they decide on the clothes for the finale of season 4, which, you know, we've all seen at this point. And so I'm like, okay, you know, that kind of gives me a little bit of an idea. And then, but immediately after that, Scott Gimple called me into his office at the studios in Atlanta, and he kind of gave me a little bit of a rundown. You know, basic stuff like this is your character, this is your character's name.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is you sort of exist in this place called Terminus, and this is what's going to happen in the finale. And then it all started to become clear, but even at that point, you know, I didn't know if I would be coming back for season 5, you know, so it's all been a very gradual process of revelation, really, from episode to episode.
So at the moment you filmed the cliffhanger and the cliffhanger was over, you know, the finale last season, did you at least know what was going on at Terminus?
No, not exactly. No, you know, again, Scott had given me a little bit of information, and he gave me a little bit of the backstory of this character, which we discover in the premiere of season 5.
Yeah.
I knew about that, you know.
Okay.
I did not know
the cannibalism. It looks like cannibalism anyway.
You know, and the thing is, you know, everybody kind of has theories about what's going on there, and more is revealed as the season goes on. Okay. I can certainly say that. There's no shortage of surprises with the show in general, and I think a lot of that will extend to my character as well.
Awesome.
So I don't want to, you know, I certainly don't want to spoil that for anyone. But there's more that is revealed. But, you know, the interesting thing for me, though, as an employee of the show, is that these things were slowly revealed to me as I was reading the scripts as well.
Yeah.
So when I went into the premiere, I knew about the things that we see with Gareth's history and his background and these kinds of things. Scott had told me about that going into it. The other stuff I did not know about. And, you know, we'll see. Again, like, that stuff is going to be revealed as the season goes on a little bit.
One of the things I totally love about the dynamic of this place is the people are so chill and sort of nonchalant. And we just saw in the premiere, you come in, you're doing sort of this like inventory as people are getting bloodletted and there's a body being sawed off in the background, and you're just like, oh, this is all in a day's work. And I wonder, for one thing, you mentioned your audition. I wonder if they were just auditioning you in a chill role to see if you could play chill, maybe?
A bookkeeper.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. No. I think there's a lot to that, you know, because I think that they needed to see a couple different sides to this person. And I say person, not necessarily character, but, you know, I think they're looking for a person who can embody a couple different tones, I guess, or a couple different, I don't want to say personas really, but ways of approaching
just
people, I think,
right?
is correct.
Yeah.
I think ways of approaching people is a good way. But we kind of see that right off the bat in the finale. What was so cool about the finale, and it was the one thing that was similar, not at all, not the words or the situations, but the one thing that was very similar to what I did in the finale to the audition process was, you know, we see this guy who is very welcoming and, you know, polite and kind of brings these people in and says, you know, everything that we see. And then there's that turn when our heroes are sort of herded into the train car. It's a different guy in a way. You know, it's the same guy, but you see that other aspect of him, and it's a little bit more cold. It's detached,
authoritative.
So I think that they did, yeah, and so I think that they did need to find that balance, you know, and I think that balance is ultimately what they were looking for. The cool thing about the character, though, is we're going to see various aspects to his personality and the way that he approaches people as we go on. It's such a fantastically rendered character by Scott Gimple and the rest of the writers and producers, because he becomes increasingly complicated, at least I think, as we get to know him better and better, and you see more and more sides to him.
So you're saying he didn't die in the zombie attack, is what you're telling us?
Well, you know, I don't, again, I don't want to.
We might see you as a zombie and learn different aspects as a zombie.
Yeah, you never know, right?
Yeah,
right. That'd be quite a different,
quite the challenge, yeah.
On Gareth.
No, I think it's pretty well known that you're a main cast member this season. Yeah,
there's enough out there that can be gleaned to, we'll see what goes on from here.
Yes.
But yeah, it was a fascinating process, the entire thing.
Can I ask you a quick question? So it sounds like you're kind of sympathetic towards Gareth. Sounds like you kind of you are, and so it sounds like you can probably justify what the termites are all about, right?
I don't know how you can't be sympathetic to a character that you're playing. I just you got to be, and because lately there's been, I'm asked a lot. Well, how do you? He's such a bad guy or he's a villain. How do you get on board with that? But I don't think of him that way, and I never have really, And again, I think this is a testament to how good Scott Gimple and the rest of the crew are at what they do. But they didn't write a villain. They wrote a very complicated person. He's as complicated as you or I. He makes decisions based on what he thinks is right, based on the very unique history that he has experienced, And so what I think it does as the story moves along is it forces the audience to meditate on and wonder about how would I approach this kind of situation, this world in which these characters live. If I was in this world and if I experienced the things that these people experience, whether it's Rick, Glenn, Daryl, Gareth, whoever, can I start to understand maybe where some of the decisions that these people have made come from? And can I, if maybe I don't agree with the decisions, or if maybe I decide that I would ultimately do something differently, can I at least understand the thought process that would bring them to this place, Mm-hmm. And for me, playing this character, it's absolutely 100%. If I couldn't, then I don't think that I'd be the right person for the job.
The scene that especially made me take a step back and go, holy shit, is, of course, the last scene that we saw in the finale not the finale, the premiere, where you're in the train car and the bad guys come. And I just want to say you did such an amazing job in that scene. It was very intense.
Thank you.
Look so rattled, but you're trying to hold together and, as much way as you can, just keep everybody calm. And also you've got that, we're going to get this place back. And so I'm like, oh shoot, I am feeling sympathy for this guy. But what I'm wondering about that scene is, I'm just curious how it was to film that and what the atmosphere was like on that set in between takes.
Yeah, that was an intense scene, because if I remember correctly, that was actually the very last scene of the episode that we shot. And it was late at night. It was late at night. And we had this tremendous actor who came in, the big guy with the tattoos on his
Mm-hmm.
face and stuff. And he was terrifying, and it was intense. It was really intense because we had shot the previous scene that opens the episode, I think maybe a week before or something. And we knew the feeling of the train car, and we kind of knew the sense of the lighting and the mood, but having shot so much of the episode in between and getting a feel for how the episode was going to play out, and then jumping back into that train car in that sequence was kind of terrifying. And you love that as an actor because it makes your job so much easier. Mm-hmm. You don't have to, it's just like, my God, this is terrifying, Yeah. And they do such a good job of casting really great actors that you're not trying to sell anything. You're legitimately scared.
Yeah.
Especially, in this really creepy, dark set in the middle of the night, out in this just very industrial sort of abandoned steel complex or wherever it was that we were shooting. It was a cool experience, and I was very curious to see how those scenes would play out and how they would feel. And I'm happy with them. I think Greg Nicotero did a fantastic job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he did.
You're getting to see all these episodes as they get finished?
No, I haven't seen anything, to be honest with you. I've seen the premiere, and I'm right there with you. I'm watching along with you guys.
Awesome. I'm curious, the scene where you're in the finale last season, where you're up on top of the building telling Rick and Michonne and Carl to get into the train. For one thing, I just want you to know that was one of my favorite scenes of the whole season. But second, how was it to be ordering around these like iconic actors and cast members? Did you feel intimidated by that at all, or were you just fully embodying the role?
Man, I totally felt intimidated. When I read that scene, I was like, my God, I got to get up there and like yell at these guys that I've been watching for years now, and I'm kind of scared of and terrified of before I even met them because they're so tough. It was intimidating, but it was so exciting though too, because when I saw that scene, I was like, oh, this guy ain't kidding. You know, like this Gareth, like this guy is for real. This is going to be an awesome character. So, you know, it was intimidating, but it's also exciting. But, you know, you get up, we started shooting that scene, and I jumped up on top of the building, and the way that it looks on the show is how it looks in real life. You know, that all that is on location. It's just so cool and gritty and just big. So again, it helps you fall into that world. But they put me up in that building, and I've got my gun, and I'm looking down. And I was like, no, I can do this. I can do this. I'm feeling kind of like a badass.
You sold it, dude. You sold it.
I hope so. I hope so. But I love that there has been such a response even to, you know, the nicknames that are given to these characters.
Did you see that fan poster? The fan poster, Archer, Samurai, Kid.
I did see that. That is so
one
cool.
of our
I
listeners.
Get my hands on one of those.
Yeah. Oh, I'll get you one. He's going to make them up. I'll get you one for sure.
Oh man, that'd be great. Yeah, I've seen pictures of it pop up online here and there on Twitter and stuff. But no, that's so cool. I haven't actually seen one in person, but you know, when I read, because all of that is, you know, obviously that's all just the writers are responsible for all of that verbatim, and I loved that I got to kind of call them out and like give them these names. You know, I had a feeling that it might resonate, and it seems like it has, which is really cool.
Totally.
Yep.
Okay. Couple more questions. Let's see.
Yeah.
Are you able to like hang out with the main cast members and get to know them, or do you want to kind of keep your distance, you know, for kind of method?
Well, going into a new job, you never know what the vibe is going to be with a group of actors or what the process will be. But, and you kind of have to roll with the punches a little bit. I mean, me personally, I don't consider myself to be a very method kind of guy. I mean, you know, for me, I get very specific when it comes to each scene on what I'm trying to accomplish, and I don't think about building a character or whatever as much as I do just about really trying to get something done in the scene, and not really even as the character, but just as a person. Like I want to just I want to get very specific on what I'm trying to accomplish. You know, for instance, like in the finale, I want to put Rick and Daryl and Carl and Michonne at ease. That's a thing that you can do. You can take the words that somebody gives you, and you can work very hard at putting someone at ease. That's a workable action, you know? Yeah. And that is where...
That's what we're doing right now, by the way.
Right. Yeah. You guys are doing a hell of a job.
Thanks.
No, but, you know, that's a workable action, and that's something that you can do. And I think all of the excitement and good stuff comes from that. So... for me, I'm not big on that. You know, I totally respect it as a part of other people's process. And look, there are certain days where that kind of thing helps. Like I might want to stay away from a particular actor depending on what sort of scene we're shooting that day. I mean, I think you gotta take it day by day. You gotta take it scene by scene. You gotta figure out what works for you. There's no right or wrong answer necessarily. But to answer your question, this group is one of the most welcoming, warm groups that I've ever worked with, and that is not big on set. I guess I shouldn't say it's not big on set. In terms of just life in general, we get together on the weekends, we have dinners together, we hang out. It's a very tight-knit, very close group. On set, you know, it is a little bit different with some of the actors. Andy Lincoln is a master at flipping the switch and suddenly becoming this different person who, before a take, will just bore into you with this look that he has in this stare, and it's sort of terrifying, you know. And he's got these things that he does to prepare, you know, when we're getting ready to go into a take, these very like physical things and these sounds, and he kind of transforms a little bit, and you know that you're not really like with Andy anymore at that moment. You're with Rick. You're with a different guy in a way. And what's cool is it helps you fall into that world a little bit more too. But even more important than that, as a new actor, as somebody who's new to the group, what I can say is that it helps you realize that it's okay to play, that it's okay to come in as a newcomer and just let go of all your inhibitions and just jump into this world. There's no self-consciousness with any of these people, you know?
That's really cool.
Nice.
So it's a little bit of a different world on set and from outside of set, but you know, even at lunch, like on set, we'll finish up and go to lunch, and then everybody is friends and it's family and whatever, whether you're a quote unquote antagonist or not.
Unless you're a zombie,
cool,
in which case you're not welcome at lunch table.
Karen and I both played zombies on the show a couple of times.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so cool. I love one of the funniest things I thought was when I started working on the show. I loved going to lunch and you see the zombies like hanging out on breaks, smoking cigarettes and stuff. Like eating a piece of fruit. Just like man, long day today, huh? Jeez.
If I get that job
I wonder if we're
again,
gonna get in the golden hour.
if I get the job, I'm going to have a big piece of meat and just be eating it over in the corner.
Yeah,
Sit
there
in the
you go.
corner and nod
Okay.
or something.
We have a
A piece of really rare steak. Or
Yeah,
something.
Right.
we have a few questions from listeners that wrote in because that time you're going to be on. So Marcy Brinker wants to know: did you ever dream of having your own action figure?
Oh man, that's kind of that's a bucket list kind of thing, right?
Right.
Like I kind of felt like when I heard about this Series 7 or whatever it was, I was like, man, I'm kind of good. Maybe I'll just retire. Maybe I'll call it a day.
That's pretty
No,
awesome.
you know, it's one of those things that I've certainly fantasized about as a kid who was obsessed with G.I. Joes and WWF figures and every other kind of action figure that you can think of. I mean, yeah, you know, I've thought about that since I was probably 5 years old. And it's so cool to know that they're releasing one. At least that's what I've heard. You know, that's what I've found online and stuff. But I'm excited. And from the pictures, they did a pretty good job. It kind of looks like me. I
Yeah,
feel like.
I
mean, you know, obviously I haven't seen one in person, but it looks pretty cool.
Nice.
No, that's absolutely a dream come true for sure.
Very cool. The next one we have is from a guy named Dave Mason, listener named Dave Mason. He writes, can you tell us any little known facts about Gareth? For example, prior to the zombie apocalypse, was Gareth a trumpet player in a power funk band named All Out Funk? I don't write that.
Wow, did I leak some notes somewhere or something? Did I leak like some my personal backstory? I didn't even think I wrote those down. You might have some mind readers out there.
Trumpet player, huh?
Jeez. Yeah. Big into the brass world, Gareth. I mean, clearly, you know, I think you can kind of feel that from him. No, you know, I love that. You know, there's certain things that I've thought about in terms of that with him, but you know, nothing. Well, first off, nothing as good as a trumpet player for a band with such a fantastic name as that. But you know, like that kind of stuff, I don't think the stuff that I've come up with anyway is probably not as significant or valid, and I wouldn't want it to color anybody's own interpretation of the character.
Mm-hmm.
But now I've got some new ideas about this guy. I'm gonna have to call Gimple and everyone else and see if we can reshoot some of those scenes. Now that I've thought about the trumpet player angle,
I think it's a great idea.
that.
Here's another good one. Randy Stevenson says, if you were trapped on a desert island with the rest of the cast and you had only one match, a book, and a tarp, who would you eat first?
Wow. One match, a book, and a tarp. Oh, God, that's such a good question.
Carl is young and
man.
tender. And Judith is definitely tender.
You know, I think you'd be pretty safe with most of this cast because they take good care of themselves. So I'm thinking that I'm going to get a hold of some pretty fresh
lean meat. Yeah.
Yeah, some lean with very little toxins. Free range. Grass fed, at least grass fed equivalent, I guess. It's a healthy cast. I think I'd be in good. I'd be all right. I'd be all right anyway. I guess.
See, this is
because they work out.
This is what I expected from Gareth. Okay, finally, what would you be like in the zombie apocalypse? Have you thought about that?
I have thought about it. I'd like to think that since last fall, when I started working on the show, I'd do a little bit better. Mm-hmm. I've gotten a little more comfortable around a zombie or two over the past year. So I wouldn't be so frightened. A year ago, I'd be a mess. I'd be a blubbering idiot somewhere. I would have gone out before episode 1 even started. Mm-hmm. I think before the pilot even aired. I don't know if I'm on the Terminus Garrett level personally, but maybe somewhere. I'd say I'd make it solid into like the beginning of season 2 at this point.
That's not bad.
Excellent.
Maybe a year. I could probably make it like a year. Like catching squirrels and with my baseball bat that I pulled out of my closet of my house or something. That might give me about a year. I'm certainly no Rick or Daryl though. That's for sure.
It's a good visual.
Yeah, right.
And then finally, what's the last thing, Karen?
The last thing is that we ask all of our guests who are on the show to make a zombie sound, and we've had pretty much everybody on the cast do a zombie sound. Can you sample it?
Sound.
Yeah. Jason, can you
I don't
let
have
Andy
the clips, but Andrew Lincoln's kind of went like this. Whoa. That was early on.
That's a good one. I like that. I like your interpretation of that even more. Let me give it a shot.
Okay,
Let me give it a shot here. Are we ready?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just want to tell you, I think they cast you in the right role. Let's just say that.
As soon as I did that, I thought that it might have sounded more like my dog after she got a hold of like something that she probably shouldn't have eaten. Maybe had a little like gastrointestinal issues. But nice. that or zombie. I think maybe either way. They could probably go either way.
All right, man. Thank you so much. We're loving what you're doing.
Hey, thanks a lot.
Can't wait to see what happens coming up.
Thank you so much. And just as far as season 5 goes, I just want to say from what I've read and from what I know, it just ain't kidding as a season. So it's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be really good.
Right on.
Awesome.
Okay, man.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, you guys too. All right. Bye-bye.
Attention shoppers, Deadcast Top 5 in 5, 4, 3, 2.
All right, we're back. It's our Deadcast Top 5 this week. It's our top 5 highlights for season 5, episode 1. You know what it's called?
No Sanctuary.
And yeah, so what'd you think in general?
In general, if I had to give it a rating of 0 to 5 brains, because that's how I do it, I gave it a 4.9 brains.
Wow.
It's pretty high, right? I loved it. I loved it. I thought it was an unbelievable season opener, and I thought it was brutal, but there are some real sweet reunions in it. The whole thing.
Dynamic. Like it had really touching, sweet moments and really disturbing.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And it all left me very shaky and soaked with sweat. Even the second time I watched it, I was still shaky and sweat soaked.
Really?
Yeah.
You're sweating? Because
I was.
Wow.
And it takes a lot to make me. I was shaking.
I'm envious of you. I can't feel that much anymore. I mean, I was disturbed by this episode, though.
I would have given some money to tone down my reaction because it wasn't funny. At one point, we paused it and I jumped up and said to David, "I need a beer." It was physically exhausting watching it.
Take a Valium now whenever you watch Walking Dead.
So how about you?
I thought it was really just gripping and shocking, intense and crazy, and overall great. There were a couple of things that bugged me about it, and God, I was tempted to just not even talk about that because I want to. It was so good, but I don't want to be false. So I still gave it a 4.4 Gax.
Pretty good.
Which is pretty good. But so we'll talk about more. I just found out, I didn't realize it, but Greg Nicotero directed this episode.
Yeah.
And I think it was one of his best, if not his best. It was great. Just cinematography and directing.
The
I thought
directing
was
was
awesome.
incredible. Visually, it was amazing. And it was written by Scott Gimple, showrunner.
Nice. And just creatively, the way they laid things out. I think I mentioned this in my top 5, but while it's on my mind, I loved how when in the beginning scene with our heroes in the train car, they were kind of getting us caught up on what had happened since, let's see, Sasha was asking, I forget what they were asking, but anyways, they were kind of being a little expository, but instead of just showing them sitting around in a circle, they're showing them all Ramboing up, forging their belt buckles into weapons, and Rick trying to saw off that piece of wood.
Right.
It's really creatively done with great music and
Daryl
stuff.
filled him in a little bit about what happened to Beth, but he said
that's right. Yeah.
She's alive. It was a white car, black cross, or maybe it was a black car, white cross, something like that.
Yeah, I didn't notice the cross. Did you?
I did not.
You saw that?
No, I didn't.
Because of that, it makes me think it probably ties in with this certain comic character who we've heard is going to be on the show, but I don't want to go too much into that.
Who's really, really great and treating Beth like a princess?
It could be. I don't know. Okay, let's go ahead. You go first.
All right. So my number 5 is, let's talk about the termites. Mm-hmm. The termites and their motivation. And the episode began with then, and then it segged into now, and it ended with then.
Which is a really nice way to put that without having to put certain time periods on it, because Walking Dead's a little amorphous, or I don't know. It's just a nice poetic way to put it, I thought.
Right. Right. And so let me ask you, do you have a lot of sympathy for them? I mean, knowing now what you know about their situation, do you have sympathy for what they went through? And do you believe that justifies what they've turned into, the monsters that they've become?
I feel sorry for them. But it's hard for me to believe that these people would react this extremely, even after what they went through. They had a week of possibly being tortured, raped, who knows what else.
Yep, couple weeks.
And then they decided that they don't want to, that you're either the butcher or the cattle, and they want to be the butchers. And so then they take back over the place, and then they still draw people in and kill them and apparently eat them. We haven't seen that, but it seems like that's what was going on.
Yeah,
that's what butchers do.
They at least butcher them, hang them up, and prep them as if to eat them.
This made me think of this news item that I saw a couple of years ago, so I looked it up again. There was this girl named J.C. Lee Dugard.
Yeah, of course.
She was 11 years old. She was stun gunned and kidnapped by this crazy couple. She was held for 18 years.
Yep.
And handcuffed a lot of the time, sexually molested. She had 2 children, one when she was 14. The guy repeatedly sexually assaulted her. The woman was mean to her. And finally, she got away. I don't remember how, but now she has a foundation to help other missing kids. She does public service announcements. She didn't turn into a monster and go around raping people.
She didn't.
As far as we know.
And that was a choice that she made. I remember reading an interview with her, and she made the choice. She said, "I'm not going to let this get me. You know, I'm going to choose to make my life a great one." You wonder
how her private life is, but it's, her public face,
right.
Ooh, public face, is to be, really magnanimous and everything. And so it's hard for me to believe. And that we just talked with Andrew J. West, and, the way he talked, we're going to get more information about them as time goes on. And I'm hoping to be a little more convinced, but I doubt I could be totally convinced. And so I think I'm just going to have to chalk this up to, what's that term we always use? I forget. Suspending your disbelief.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And if I just forget about that it was hard for me to believe that a group would do that and then take the story, I think it's amazing.
Yes.
What do you think?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. What's that term? Oh yeah, that's right. Suspension of disbelief. We have to use that quite a bit.
Yeah. Okay, my turn?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I got to scroll up here. My number 5 was just how disturbing this episode was.
It was.
This show has been getting more and more disturbing. And when it is earned like this, I really like it. Like the whole build up last season was up to Terminus. So this was the bang that you got at the end. And the most disturbing part was the bloodletting.
Yeah. The intro.
Like, holy fuck.
The intro was so hard for me to watch. In fact, I got to tell you, at one point, the baseball
bat.
Yeah. At one point, I said to myself, if this is how the episode is going to be, I'm never going to watch it again. I'm going to jump off. I actually said that to myself.
Yeah. Well, I feel like it'd be good if you could somehow accept that it's going to be like that, or else you're just going to go through. I just don't want you to jump off, but because I have a feeling it's going to be more like, more of this as the season goes on, more of this kind of thing.
Sweet reunions and everyone's happy.
No, more like, oh man. And we'll see in the news later, but I don't know. Our favorite. There's going to be a time when one of your favorite characters dies, so you should just accept that now.
He's like the mean mom who's trying to toughen me up for the real world.
It's not mean though. It's like, yeah, if
you're
that
like
is going to happen and you're not ready for it, then you're going to jump off. But if you're like, okay, I know that's going to happen, then when it does happen, you're like, yep, I knew that was going to happen.
I'm trying to preserve my innocence.
Okay. So that was also very well done, the way they had them all lined up. Just so happens our favorite characters are at the right end of that lineup. But did you notice who was at the wrong end?
Yes, I sure did. Peach Boy.
Yeah, I think his name was Sam.
Sam.
And he was part of the couple that Carol and Rick met early on, and then the girl was eaten and the guy wasn't seen until now. I don't know how he got all the way to Terminus without connecting with anybody else. But
by the way, did you notice that in the candle room where they had all the tables of all the crap that they apparently have looted off their victims, the watch table, did you see that Carol pulled the watch and it was Rick's watch that he gave Sam? Remember Rick gave Sam his watch?
Carol gave that. Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I thought it was Carol's watch, but
she picked up a watch and it was a big watch. And I said to myself, I bet that's the watch that Rick gave Peach Boy.
Okay, so he gets his watch back. Yay. But at least there's a silver lining to Sam having his throat cut. But there were 2 other watches that we're concerned with. Herschel's watch that he gave Glenn and Carol's watch that she gave Rick.
Right.
I wonder if those were sitting there and she didn't bother with those.
Yeah, maybe she didn't notice them.
Is Herschel's watch gone now? Maybe Glenn has it up his ass. If he's smart. That was the first thing he did. Then other disturbing things. Well, I thought at first I thought it was almost comical that the guy kept winding up his bat to hit Glenn. And like, oh, hey, and he's like, oh, what? A couple of times, but I still loved it. It was a great effect.
Yes.
And then there were chunks of human bodies hanging all over the place. I thought it was shocking, especially I love that the termites, their behavior is so nonchalant. That makes it even more shocking. And it's because they think of everyone as cattle. But when Gareth comes in and he's just in bookkeeping mode while all this carnage is going on.
Shot count.
And he's got this clipboard. It makes it even more interesting and shocking to me than if he seemed all evil.
Right. Yeah.
It's just another day at the factory.
No, right.
And I just wanted to, and then of course the Judith, that was disturbing to see this fucking psychopath get his hands on little baby and you see her crying and I'm like, oh, that's abuse for that poor little baby.
Her look on her face when she looks up at him, she deserves an Emmy.
She's the best
She's
actress.
So cute.
So very disturbing. And then I was wondering, like, when you see, you're a vegetarian.
I am.
So when you see a lot of carcasses of people hanging around, is that more disturbing than if it was cattle, actual cattle?
No,
it's not. Is
it's
it?
all horrible.
If you saw a cow, it would be
just
similar.
as yucky. Yeah. I don't know. That's all very icky.
Yeah, of course. All right, that's it.
All right. My number 4, I'm going to go with the reunions. And the reunions were pretty sweet. So to sort of as a palate cleanser to all the incredible violence, there were some really, really sweet reunions.
What was your favorite?
And I felt like we earned them. definitely when Carol reunited with Daryl. I mean, it was just the Norman Reedus just sort of running up to her, and the way he hugs her, it was great. I was already choked up, and shortly thereafter, she gets a hug from Rick, and I was worried that he would be like, "What are you doing here?" But he figures out that she was behind it all. And
yeah, he goes, "You did this? You did this?"
Yeah. And then finally, the last reunion, which was beautiful, and she said, "I got to show you something," and she takes him to Judith.
It was such a good thing that she didn't go back to find a dead baby.
I've got to show you something. Here, your baby was alive 10 minutes ago.
I swear, just a few minutes ago.
Yes.
Yeah, that was my favorite. Him just seeing the baby.
Of course, it is your favorite. Because that would be like if you lost Nico and there he is. Yes.
I'm getting teary just thinking about it.
I know. I got teary both times I saw the show too. Each time I had a lump in my throat.
Too.
Oh,
and I'd been waiting for that scene, so that was good.
Even Tyrese and Sasha.
Yep, that was good too. And I loved how during all those reunions, for a second the camera lingered on Abraham, Rosita, and Eugene, and they kind of look alone because they're not part of the group yet, really.
And I've got to say, Eugene looks at the little Grimes family reunion, and he kind of looks a little long, and it made me go, huh. And then later...
You mean like you don't trust him or something?
Well, I don't know. At one point, Abraham and Rosita are talking right after that, and she says, have you talked to him? And he said, no, I'm going to wait, or something like that.
Oh, I think that was just about, because they were talking about, let's get out of here.
Let's get out of here and continue our mission.
Yeah. Well, they don't have a mission, I don't think.
Going to Washington, D.C.
Oh, no. I mean, like Rick was saying, let's get out of here. And so those guys are like, should we tell him right now to go to D.C.? And he's like, let's give it a minute or something.
Right.
I took from that.
Yeah. Well, I hope you're right. I don't want there to be anything bad with Abraham's Army because I love them so much.
I don't have the reunions on my list. I think maybe I instinctively knew that you would cover that, so I left it off.
I'm so predictable.
Oh, that's great. Okay, my turn. My number 4 is Eugene's cure. I was really happy that Sasha insisted on knowing this thing.
Yeah.
She's like, come on, we want to know this cure.
Yeah.
And force the issue. And so I wrote down what Eugene said. He said, I was part of a 10-person team at the Human Genome Project that weaponized diseases to fight weaponized diseases. Pathogenic microorganisms with pathogenic microorganisms. Fire with fire. Interdepartmental drinks were had. Relationships started. All the details shared. I'm keenly aware of the details behind fail-safe delivery systems to kill every living person on this planet. I believe with a little tweaking on the terminals in D.C., we can flip the script. Take out every last dead one of them. Fire with fire. So I read that closely, and it's a little vague, like, I'm not even sure he's saying that the zombie apocalypse started because of this weaponized diseases. He's definitely saying he thinks he can use that research to kill the zombies.
Right.
But I think he is at least suggesting that somehow the zombie apocalypse started as a result of this effort to weaponize diseases, but it's unclear. I don't know.
And it sort of makes sense.
It's interesting.
It makes sense if... Yeah, I should go back and watch the CDC episode again and see how that sort of jives with that, with what we learned at the CDC. Does,
yeah. I don't want to watch that one again, so you tell me.
You will eventually.
I will. You're right. I definitely will. All right, your turn.
Okay. My next one is the pace of this episode. It seemed like it was an entire season crammed into one episode, which may be why I liked it so